Welcome everyone and welcome to All In, All United.
Remember the comment he made?
I got some varsity.
Run Ryan.
Ryan.
And everything. You have players out there.
I think the fellas will take it more serious.
No way. What grade?
That one had to go.
Yes. Because at the end of the day, right now, Manchester United are
Welcome everyone and welcome to All In, All United. So we still on preseason, it seems, with the panel, right?
Yeah. No, I mean that. I don't blame. Here we go.
Yeah, we still on preseason with the panel. Men taking the little 5.
Yeah. And tonight is SummerSlam too. So
Yeah. But I mean, with all that being said, the tour has come to an end, right? So, I mean, I think the boys flying out tonight and back to Carrington from next week, right? A pretty decent preseason overall. I mean, we win the Premier League Summer Series, so we leave with a trophy for whatever that was worth.
a teacup.
Yeah, but plenty work still to do all here. Plenty work still to do. I think this game was a perfect reminder of why a goalkeeper, a midfielder, and a striker, remain key targets, in this summer window. And if we do get these upgrades, I think we could see plenty performances like these next summer. Next season, well, when the season comes into full, flow, and that will make some real hard and frustrating watches of it. You know what I'm saying? And we will be here having to go through those therapy sessions that we had. I think we had enough of those. I don't mind them in the little one-off next season because we understand how football is ups and downs and you can't win everything. But the extent of therapy sessions that we had last season, I ain't able. So we need to upgrade in those positions because I can't see us having any kind of ambition and not addressing those areas.
Agreed.
Yeah. So before we get into the agenda, what we saying, Sivian? Chef, what we saying?
It is what it is. It is what it is. I mean, we get happy a little bit, but the season coming around and we see what we're working with. So it is what it is.
Today wasn't terrible, as I said. We still know the team have some improvement to go, but if we look at the tour on a whole, we seeing improvements. We really seeing. We always say with Manchester is a few steps forward and about 100 backwards. But we get in there, but we do need some improving. We do need some improving, namely that striker role, and for me, midfield striker, keeper, as everybody keeps saying. Yeah. Hopefully, we see some going out this week, so the team can do what they need to do.
But a question, right? Before we actually get into if we could only improve one area because I know the first pod Phil would have talked earlier and all would have kind of itemize it in that order of priority. All your thoughts change in terms of if we could only sign one, which would be number one, based on what I see over preseason?
I think I try to remember if my choice was it a striker I wanted next one, or was it goalkeeper? But I will say, as of now, midfield, goalkeeper, striker.
Simeon?
I agree with Chef.
I think Chef hit it on the head there.
I've always, before before last season, I would have said midfield. I would start with midfield, but it was so bad at striker and so bad at goalkeeper last year. But today it showed that we still in the fix it. I mean, we really in fix that midfield. You know, I know we could talk more about it, but it's a shame that we don't have one good midfielder in there that's solid all around. Not one.
Yeah.
You
Everybody,
know,
everybody, everybody just give us bits, but the all wrong.
Yeah. Let me just get some comments quick. I see Jody on the inside. Blessed night to you, buddy. Thanks for joining,
Hey,
man. I saying don't worry, players coming in. All right.
Pelori Master, what go, brother? For you and the family.
He's saying, yeah, boy, chef. Don't look at the game, but the games. All right. So you're
Yeah,
talking about the overall picture as opposed to just the isolated performance today, right?
yeah,
He also saying here, so basically we need a spine.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
basically. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And,
And
and,
I, and
and
I will say, go ahead, sorry. Go ahead.
no, just to follow on what Simeon saying there, or is it that you make the point? Um, we need a complete midfielder, and we don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
We have
That's what we're missing.
yeah, we have Ugarte who could break up play, right? He tenacious,
Yeah,
but when you put the ball on his foot, he's a liability.
yeah.
We have Kobe who good on the ball, excellent,
He
but
actually
I
didn't have
feel
a bad preseason.
no, he didn't. He didn't. But it have some games where you could see where if
Yeah.
he not partnered with the right player,
I think
he'll
that
get
is what's going
exposed.
on with Kobe.
You
Kobe
understand?
needs Kobe is a good he's more than decent individual player, but playing in that position, he needs to be partnered with a leader.
Yeah. I don't know why when I look at our midfielders, I just feel as though we have midfielders who built to play in a three as opposed to a two. You
Yeah.
know? And so
But
this
then
two, boy, I know, I know.
Kareem, that point right there is like, I mean, I know you're going to get to the game, but I have questions as to how we building this team, the priorities we placing on our signings, from striker to 10 to midfield to goalkeeper. Because some of the most glaring, issues we have, we kind of put on the back burner. And like, it's Amarim really? I mean, if you look at the team, like the players we get in, the the problem areas we really need to address. And it's like, what is this supposed to look like? What is this team supposed to look like when this season? Because we ain't addressing these areas.
Yeah.
We get two tens, and what we really need. Great players, but we need a striker. We get, we ain't touched the midfield yet. Goalkeeper, who knows? I just feel like I can't see how Amrim putting this team together. And I know we're gonna talk about Bruno, but again, I don't see how how this recipe go taste good. I don't see how it go come out good.
I hear you, Simeon. But I would say also though, the goal scoring issues were so glaring last season, but oh god. Uh, and Dan, I am watching these two fellas. And when my first game, Cunha played maybe this is his second game. Dan, nobody cannot tell me them fellas is now upgrading what we had. And I'm not talking about just the scoring part of it, but just the technical ability that them two
Simple.
fellas have on the
Yeah.
ball. And
Yeah.
then just fight. Because I
Yeah.
watched them two fellas, when them fellas lost the ball, there's no standing up. Them fellas, Embuemo set a standard today that, dog, when that man lost the ball, he is coming back to win back the ball. And he easy, was absolutely no kind of um madness when when he had the ball, he cool on it. People around him, he know he could think. Oh, guys, all. So as much as all them other positions, one thing I want to believe this season, goals going to come.
Yeah. I'm glad I touched on Mbumo because I want to get all your thoughts on his performance. This was his debut. I think it was arranged beforehand that he could only play 45 minutes.
Right.
So when he came off, it wasn't a surprise. It should not
No,
have
it
been a
wasn't.
surprise to anybody.
It wasn't. It wasn't.
And I guess when you saw him play, you realize you actually saw that he wasn't up to speed in terms of for what the demands would be. But that being said, what were the thoughts on Mbumo, his debut performance today?
I felt
And
he.
and just sorry, and let me just add, and what do you see him bringing to the team?
I like the the simple passes he make, the space he finds, how he could get the ball and hold on to the ball, and find spaces. Like I feel like he make the simple play in that spot. I don't feel the physicality was too much for him. I don't feel the speed was too much for him. I think he makes the simple play, and just a simple pass, in a top of the box, I feel like we talk about Premier League proven, and you see that confidence in his play when he's playing. And today, you see some players able to deal with that kind of, Premier League speed and physicality, and some players were not. So you get kind of, you know, this player know how to play in the league, and you saw it today. You know,
Yeah, chef.
Yes, yeah, the man. Dog, I really, well, I was calling for that man to get signed. So, dog, I really read the man is a player, and as Simeon said, the man playing football simple, but the man have flair in him too. The man have technical ability, and he real cool on the ball. It's no panicky thing. Then so yeah, that man, that was a good little debut. We know in terms of little match fitness, in terms of gelling with the team, that has some to go. But hopefully by Arsenal game, he will be there because how to see he and Cunha in his starting lineup against us.
and that simple play where we back on defense, and he get the ball and he run out.
Get the ball.
I mean, it's simple. I mean, it's not simple, but the fact that you could run, escape that press,
Yeah,
break. I mean, break. Because we see Ugarte try to do the same thing, and you see what happened to Ugarte. This man took the ball and carried the safety, and rotate the ball, and we good. We carried to go out, but like those simple things, that Premier League, you have to be able to, take care of the ball, be fast enough to escape tackles without having to dive on the ball every time, because the referees call them fouls all the time. Too many of our midfielders have tried to run away. They're too slow. They get bumped. They fall down, and next thing you know, the ball in the back of the net. That is a common theme for our midfielders or our players trying to escape the back. So having a
yeah.
player that show you that simple thing, just you know, that's why I'm glad we got him. I mean, I see why a little bit there.
One of the things that I've always wanted for Man United, and all I could go back and watch all the pods when I talk about the ideal player, or one of the preferred qualities in a player we sign is always ball security. Right?
Yeah, yeah,
I want players who could hold on to the ball and carry the ball under pressure. right? And
Ballers.
yeah, and they have a technical level that they're intelligent too. They're not stupid, right? They're not dotish. And the first touch Mbumo received today was a one cushion pass to Bruno in the center of the park. You understand? And you will believe that ability to receive the ball so well and make a proper decision, how that opened the field for we up there.
Kareem, I want to, before this thought go from my mind, you see this point you making, Dan, is exactly where I come into now, Dan. I want all the Manchester fan base to see, because this preseason showed, if men hammering football, real easy to see another, but men had to be hammering football doesn't leave space for mistakes. Because here what it is quick passes that is bam, 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 bam. Iron line and tell you know long means see Manchester not football so. But here's the thing. It goes to, why I'm bringing up this point now, because it goes to that point you know your first touch had to be on point, your technical ability had to be on point, your mind had to be on point, and you had to have speed. His football, slow players wouldn't do well in this kind of formation at all.
At least not the players that you need for the transition, right?
Nah, not for the transition.
A man could be naturally not as quick, but you see once he
but intelligent. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because and that point to make about that first touch. Because it's a plenty combinations that see happen today, and at the ball, Bruno had a heavy touch and it break down the play. You understand? It had one heavy touch Cunha make and it break down the play.
Yeah.
So those kind of things, the amount of time Ugarte lose the ball.
Yeah.
So you're right in that. I mean, we know it's going to have a perfect setting where everything will just go right. But we had to know that it's more than likely that this fellow will control the ball. You understand? Rather than you get a man the ball and you're sure whether you go get a good touch or you get a heavy touch. You know?
Yeah, basics. Men basics have to be on point.
Yeah, so you see Mbumo ball security, fellas, that was one of the most important things that I wanted to be added to the team. So we have another player who could hold on to the ball and allow the team to move forward together to start to settle in the opponent half and start to create openings and make chances. You understand what I'm saying? Because I'll tell you something, yes, we just play on the transition, but what I saw today, I saw a little period where it had some little movements and knocking and thing, and I just watching the kind of passes that Mbumo was seeing, and watching the kind of passes that Cunha was seeing and actually making. You remember we used to talk about sideways?
Yeah.
We're actually seeing that them fellas making the passes through the space. You never seen that before.
But Dan and Larry, we just blast players, but I think a player who on this preseason really show. You see that when talk about passes and seeing pockets. You see Mason Mount though? Dan Mount, I started to say, God, tell me this is the player we sign, So Mount looking more than decent though.
Yeah, all right.
I know they don't have faith in him, man, but the mountain looking bad at all.
No, let me put it like this. I can't have your man if a man come on, because he did come on today and he looked good. He looked good. He earned that goal, top of a decent performance. You understand? But I had to start. Them fellas gonna make me trust them now, bro.
Yeah.
But get Jackie Jacket. He did well, just like how
Mount had a good preseason. He had a good preseason.
Definitely. So it's for me, it's a matter keeping them fellas and fit, right? And I think they could be good squad players, in terms of when you bring them off the bench, the level don't drop too far down, So I guess that's a good thing to have. Let me just get some comments real quick before we move on, fellas. All right. Eric Lewis on the inside. Good night, man. Thanks for joining. Same Premier League Series champions, first trophy of the season. All right. For what it was, right? Hammond Warren on the inside. Good night, man. Thanks for joining.
Oh, Hammond. Good night, brother.
Yeah, Gregory Burris on the inside. Thanks for joining, man. Good night. He's saying we still need a midfielder, definitely.
Yeah. We know. Without a
Right.
doubt.
Kurt on the inside. Good night, buddy. Thanks for joining, man. He's saying didn't see the first, but the second. Another okay showing from the guys. How did Mbumo do his first? Mbumo was decent, real decent. And I mean, you could have tell it had some gaps in terms of the chemistry and the relationship with the players. You know, you can
Yeah.
see when one person was supposed to be there, they wasn't there. The pass kind of went
Mm-hmm.
awry. So for me, those things will come with time. And yes, they're training together, but game situations will be different. You know, you have to learn your
Completely.
players in game situations. But I think
Yeah. You're gonna see Cunha already starting to adapt to playing with them fellas, and because he has had extra time than Mbuemo. So yeah.
correct. But I don't think um he did his chances any harm, you know, with
No.
this performance today, you know. So I think
Mhm.
we're on the right track, man. You know.
Yeah, man.
Kristen on the inside, good night, man. Thanks for joining. He's saying we need a midfielder bad. Ugarte is not it. Too weak and too slow on the ball and not great passing. Yeah. And the thing about it with Ugarte, he kind of hot and cold, boy. One game he will show up and you'll get
Ugarte
something
can look
nice and he will
so
say,
good.
and then next blink, you want to know what's going on,
And
you
I have
know?
a big prop. And them is you see them kind of positions then we can't have hot not in his
Yeah.
spine.
We need consistency. We need Mr. Consistent inside it or Mr.'s
Yeah,
consistent, you know?
that position is how good we is in that position is how far this team could go.
Correct.
And then you combine that with how Bruno was playing today.
We'll get to Bruno. We'll get to Bruno, right? um, Kurt saying here from what I saw with the heavy touches, the field is not one of the best playing fields in the US. And I really did hear when I was listening to the commentator, they say FIFA tell them that they dig up that and put grass or something.
Grass,
Yeah,
yep. For the World Cup,
for the World Cup. Right,
FIFA instruct them that have to dig up that and relay grass. So
right. So
it's
that
not
could
it's not
also,
it's really it's not the easiest field playing surface at all.
but at the end of the day, it's the two teams playing the same surface, right?
Yeah, and let me be real. All these professionals that all these millionaires.
Correct.
So I ain't taking that excuse to be honest.
Correct. Kristen saying here, Mount look a lot better. Hope he can continue and stay fit. Yeah.
Yep.
Anything to help the team. He said Mount is a cheeky player. He could knock and he has a great passing range. Yeah. Carry on the inside. Thanks for joining, man. Eric saying here, I'm not surprised by Mbumo's quality. 100%, 1000% upgrade on Garnacho.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Even if a man had come in and couldn't talk, he'd have been better than Garnacho. All right. Kurt saying here, just going back to the second game we won, you can see the connection developing Dogu and Kuni on the left in the pocket and overlap. Yeah. And Dogu getting better too. Dogu really improving, man.
Dogu improving.
Yeah. Aaron Jones on the inside. Thanks for joining, man. He's saying United to win road march.
Ed, tell me what went on with that last match with Cena and them.
All right. So, fellas, now, you know, sometimes we don't want to get too hot, we don't want to get too cold, we don't want to get too high, too low. So let me consider the entire tour, right? So we tour more or less finished. We just have Fiorentina to play, and then
at home.
Yeah, and then there's Arsenal, right? So considering the entire tour, now when we look at the game against West Ham and we look at the game against Bournemouth, you know, there were a lot of positivity in terms of how we dominated games, you know, how the fellas were up for it. You know, you can see like a new lease of life, right? So consider everything in the tour. This performance for me would have ranked probably the worst, right?
Agreed.
Right. So I saw some people label it as a little reality check now, you know? So again, consider the entire tour. Does this performance change your feeling that you had about the team coming into the game? Right? Are you now a little more concerned about going into the season after today's performance, does it change your perspective as to how you saw the team? Because before, as I said before, the game before might have had feeling a little more optimistic, but now does this change that feeling of optimism, or it's just a little blip and we will be good? How you feel about it? Go through, Chef.
To be honest, Dan, you know me. I don't get carried away at all. So after the second game, I was just, all right, cool. We improving. Today, performance wasn't all that, but again, I watching everything, and the whole today performance didn't change how I thought about the teams overall before the started today. Before today I said we need a midfielder. Today did nothing to wave me off of that thinking.
Nah, I mean, I think I this is what I expected more or less coming into the season. You didn't address these positions, you're gonna get this kind of performance. Um, it's nice you see with the first two games that Amram has been working, and you see it could work against, some teams it could work. But against some team like a team like Everton that plays, the back, they played the back four today, I think. Um, like it's not going to work against the tougher, the more physical type of I remember that too. Like the team Everton had out there was a big strong fast team, and like they struggled.
Imposing,
Yeah,
imposing
yeah, that's
team.
the right way. Yeah, imposing. Like they struggled to deal with that, and like I look at Menu and like you all want to see what Menu's gonna do, and you see like they were getting you couldn't find Menu because they were block. I mean, they were marking him Menu. Some dude, I forgot who it was like man marking Menu, and he was so much bigger than Menu, you couldn't see Menu past him. So Menu was pretty much out of the game really, early. Um, I felt this, and I'm grateful that Everton show us this kind of intensity in a game. I think we needed this kind of thing to get ready for the league. So I expected this. I mean, I don't think we had the best 11 out there. I think Dogu should. I mean, obviously Dogu should have started. Midfield, with Bruno, and it's gonna have those issues, but it is what I expected. I mean, I am. We did look a little bit menacing attack wise, but as far as what the midfield showed us, which was I think it was the big highlight, you kind of expect that kind of pressure when the Premier League starts.
For me, I would consider it a reality check. And sometimes I'm glad it happened now rather than you remember when in Ten Hag first season,
Mhm.
preseason was excellent. We blew away all the teams. And then that first game we get blowed from Brighton. Then the second game we get blowed from Brentford. And it was
Yep.
like, what are we doing? What going on here? And we end up spending 70 million on customer. But anyway, I prefer we get this kind of shake up now, right? So that it will continue to force Amorim to look at the areas where we really need to improve, right? Because I seeing where he trying to do certain things, trying to do different things. Because the game against Bournemouth, we press real high because Kobe and Ugarte is Bournemouth or West Ham. I can't remember which one. Yeah, I think it's West Ham because
Bo-
against Bournemouth,
West Ham.
yeah, because against Bournemouth, I think was Casemiro and Bruno playing midfield, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. Those
the game
bombers.
against West Ham, Ugarte and Kobe pressed real high, so we were kind of trying to stifle Bournemouth from building the ball out of the back because that's a team that is play the ball out of the back.
Yeah,
Now Everton tends to go a little bit longer.
long.
So if I read it right, Ugarte and Kobe had to they couldn't press high because then that long ball would have beat them, right? But one of the issues I have is them second balls, boy. We don't win anytime it's a physical team, as you would have mentioned. We don't ever really challenge and win those second balls. And for me, that is a real problem. And that is something that was I pick up on today. Now, is Casemiro the answer? I personally don't think so, right? Because when Casemiro came on, Casemiro threw himself again, as he's always doing, get beat stupid, right? But you see that kind of tenacity that Ugarte just give us. If we could get some little more intelligence and a little more ability with that, he would be so ideal. But I just feel as though it has some teams that will watch Everton and see what Everton get through it and give us problems. And that is something that we have to prepare for. And we can't wait until we play in Arsenal to say, well, okay, we're going to rush now and panic buy our next player for $80 million. Right? So these are things that we should be prepared for, because clearly that midfield area, we're not equipped to challenge. And I don't know if I noticed, now, Arsenal having the best preseason, and I don't really care, right? But they have players that could play different ways. If you want to get a physical game, they could give you a physical game. If you want to get a technical game, they could give you a technical game. What are the different areas in play that we could offer? And this is why looking at just transition alone. What when time to put the ball on the ground and actually try to move the football with a team pressing you high? Could we build out from the back with that? Or a team that's going long and fighting for second balls? Could we deal with that? And these are the questions that I came out of this game with. Right? So I want to see what's gonna happen. As I said in my opening comments, we must have to address certain areas on the pitch. And it had to start with midfield, right? It has to start with midfield. Let me just get some comments real quick here, guys. Kurt saying here, what I am seeing too with Amram Ball is where one of the centre-backs stepping out to meet an opposing player and cutting off the passing lane. We wasn't seeing, right? Aaron Jones saying here, fight still going on. Hard to say who would win. All right, so that's for you, Chef. All right. Kurt saying here, to answer your question, Reem, I am a bit more confident for this season, but I am still on the fence. The first 8 games for me in the season would give us a better idea of where the team is going and how it can achieve. All right. If I answer your Kurt, by yes and no, because we watching football to know you don't wait so long.
You know, I know that was going to be my point. You don't wait so long. 8 games is plenty. By 4 or 5 games, we would know where this team going this season.
And then too, on top of that now, I'm not sure the newness, the new season, positivity, everybody pumped, but 2 losses and them fellas heads on a drop. I don't know what the mental strength of this team, how much that improved, So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
go ahead.
Yeah, that's the point. Like, the mental strength of this team, like we get, we aren't so lucky, but we have we got to a point where we scored the opening goal, a penalty, and we on the front foot, right away in most of these games. I just feel like what happens when we go behind 1 goal, 2 goal? Who go step up? Who go fall apart? Is the captain going to freak out, or is the captain gonna be calm? The captain we have, but the mental ability of this team, to pull themselves together, like we ain't sure about it. You look at Cunha and Bumo, you hope you have that kind of character, but like I said, I really, we didn't get to that part yet. We go see, in 2 weeks against Arsenal, but it against Arsenal, we it can get ugly.
And can get ugly fast too.
Yeah. Yes, because like you said, Arsenal not having a good preseason. You know, they need a good opening game. I mean, after Tottenham win a trophy, everybody laugh at Arsenal. They come into Old Trafford to make a point. So we need to be ready.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what has amazed me by how different teams there's because for some reason Arsenal has always struggled in the striking department, and for nothing they could sign a good striker. And this season they finally sign a
A
more out
killer.
and out, yeah, a more out and out number 9. But every season them always buying midfielders,
Yep.
and we sitting here for years trying to buy midfielders, and we could never, when I say, get
Find the
some,
correct height for
yeah,
midfielders.
correct. So that does do my head in, boy. Anyway, I mean, let me see how it goes. Let me see how it goes, right? Kiel, Andrew on the inside. Good night, buddy. Thanks for joining, man. He said within 5 games, we know where we're heading. Right? The
Yep.
defensive lapses still there. Old habits die hard. All right. He also saying here, Ruben was clearly angry after the game, and I'm sure it's because he thought we didn't control the game as he wanted. Yeah, and you cannot tell with the team too, because we stand up with the trophy and it's like nobody wanted to be there.
Nobody wants to celebrate.
Yeah, definitely just stand up there because it was a formality. We had to go and pose with the trophy by the board. So it's just like that's what was going on. But I mean, apart from that, you cannot tell how Ruben was upset. He was upset. And
Yeah.
I don't blame him because the performance wasn't.
No, it wasn't what you want.
Yeah, and it didn't follow the 2 previous performances.
Yeah, and I think that would frustrate any manager if we're being honest. Because you want to build consistency and you're feeling like, oh gosh, we finally going somewhere, and then these fellas come and put in a performance like today. So you're thinking to yourself, why is the same? We ain't going nowhere. Or?
Yeah. Kurt said here, you believe I have faith. I have more faith in Heaton between the sticks over Onana and Bayern until we get a better keeper. I ain't know not good, boy.
I ain't know about that one. But Heaton did himself certainly know. Heaton had a decent preseason, so I can't fight him.
But I still don't know. I still don't know. I don't know. I think we choosing from a real messed up
Yeah.
pool right now.
Yep.
So trying to it's almost as though we're just trying to it's a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I prefer get a new keeper. Good. I just prefer get a new goalkeeper.
Of
Right?
course.
Kiel saying here, correct. It's definitely consistency he wants. Yeah. Because we want to see where we improving. And and obviously
And
go ahead.
no, I want to say too, and the thing is too, it speaks a lot to the mental of the players too. When in one hand we're supposed to be improving or they're having good games, and then it just going back to the same kind of nonsense. So you as a manager wondering, but what I had to do again to get these men to play consistent and buy into the kind.
Yeah. One of the things that I didn't note, I find and I saw today with Mbumo, their back always to the opponent when they're receiving the ball. So sometimes if you're not able to shield the ball properly, you're always
Yeah.
at a disadvantage because the defender's seeing the ball and they're seeing you. You're not seeing the defender. So you don't know how they're coming at you. So it's easy sometimes to get the ball nicked off you. And when you're receiving the ball and you don't know, we keep passing the ball back. When we want Ahmad and Mbumo or Dogu and Cunha receiving the ball facing the opponent. Nah.
Yeah, your one man get the ball in the stride.
Yeah. You know, I find plenty times when we take so long to build the ball out. And if you all realize, out of the back three, the one who's the best on the ball is Euro. And Everton realize that. So every time Euro get the ball, they're closing down Euro real quick. Because they let engage in those kind of forward passes. And Shaw is Mr. Back Pass.
Then I don't know how men could even begin to try and tell me to let good enough. Then I find he is so much shitter, boy. That man is good at. I can't believe that man was that player. We used to play for Ajax, you know. God, but he don't impress me at all. I am telling you, all the defenders, the Lit is my least favorite defender.
I don't know. I like Nico asked me today. He say he prefer Maguire over the Lit.
Any day.
Yeah, but I tell him I went even further and I say, "Here, what's going on?" Asking me to choose between one or the other is like being between a rock and a hard place. Right?
It is.
So I tell you, I will still prefer go with a little more less physical center back, but more ball playing quick center backs. Because and I have a reason why I say this, I will prefer go with Euro, Maswari, and Martinez or Heaven. And the reason why I say that is because the players could push higher and rely on the pace to recover.
Yeah.
That is one. Two, those fellas are more progressive in the pass and they could pass through the lines. They are willing to pass to make the passes. You understand? They're good on the ball, right? And if we want to play on the front foot, then we need all the players in the team comfortable in possession and willing to make the pass.
Yeah.
Thirdly, we play with two midfielders. So you don't think you need defenders who able and capable to step in when that gap open up, to keep the gap close. Because most of the times, one of the reasons why it's so easy to play through in midfield is because there's only two.
Yeah,
right?
Man, there has to be the back tree can't be a flat back tree. It has to have a point. It has to have a point on that back tree. So as you see, to cover that space.
Space. Yeah. So I don't know. That's why I don't really fancy the Lit or I don't really fancy Maguire. But I know in the EPL, you know, the physicality and teams go start to target them and all kind of jazz, right? But I don't know. I still find build them up to manage it now, man. You know? KL saying here one more friendly versus La Viola. So I'd like to see the most likely starting lineup for Arsenal in the first half. And I think that would be the case, eh? I think so. More than likely, you would see the closest team to start against Arsenal starting that.
That's who you'll see against Fiorentina,
yeah. And I know for sure Bruno will be there, right? So that's a good segue. Olia. Don't get me wrong, boy. I really appreciate the man love for the club. I appreciate he fights. I appreciate, you know, the goals and the assists and everything, you know. But I have a question: where Bruno fit in this team? Like when everybody, let me just say when everybody fit, where Bruno fit in? Because where Bruno fit in, Olia?
You know, y'all asked me this question last time I was on. And I say, leave him. I say he go have to play, you know, in the 8th. And I see him play, and all these flashbacks come back today. I say, you know what? We gotta find another. You know, he can't play there. He can't. The one place he go play, he can't play. He saw it today. It's like one of the main things, you know. I say the defense better, so Amrim go risk playing him there, you know. But he is the risk himself. You know, he is the risk. You know, Amrim's system based on players that could have ball security. And this man loose. I mean, if he ain't passing the ball, away, the man, getting caught in possession far,
Yeah,
far too
Bruno,
much. And it's like he's so casual with it sometimes. It's like I feel like, he don't get tired, but he play tired sometimes. That play he had, that a tired play, like, oh, I get pressured. Let me take my time and make this simple pass. And like throughout his career, he's been doing these. I'm just gonna make this pass because these loose passes. It's like you don't see the danger, and it's like he's a real risk to this team, and it's like
So let me just interject. Let me just interject, and you'll continue after, right? Because what you're saying there is so true. Because the second goal we concede, the equalizer, you all see what happened. He hold on to the ball too long. He ignored a pass, right, to recycle the ball. He tried to play it through the player leg, and die. He lost it. When Ndiaye
and then
moved,
in the
he kick
middle
out.
fighting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he kick out at Ndiaye, right? And two of them start a pushing match, and then when
And
Ahmad scored the whole goal. It's happened in the Europa League final too.
that's your captain. I mean, what are we going? I mean, I never forget. I think it was the game before. I think it was Ragnick last game. I could go that far back, and Ten Hag was in the stands, in a khaki suit. I think we lost that game. We were
Yeah,
playing
that was versus
okay
Crystal Palace.
football,
Yeah.
and this man do a back pass across field,
yes.
and it's and like I keep coming back, and like Ten Hag see that, and Bruno still, and here we are, seasons later, and still Bruno doing these things. I just wonder, like with Amorim, see Ten Hag issue was, Rashford and some of the players he wanted to fix. Amorim can't be caught up with Bruno. He can't be caught up trying to fit him in this team.
That's scary, Simeon, because that's what we're seeing going on. That's what we're seeing going on. It's almost as though Bruno had to play. He just had to fit him in the team wherever.
Why Bruno play all time today? Why he play a whole game today? It seemed like why
That was
Collier,
madness.
what's the young fella Kone? Why they can get a sweat?
I want to know why all you carry Kone,
Yeah,
all you
but
carry Kone to not play.
Kone ain't get a single minute in this tour by, and the man
No,
real impressed by.
I don't get that at all, boy. Not us. I was really expecting to see that youth get more playing time.
But like, what kind of coach? I like Amorim, but I have to question your coaching if one player have to play all the time for this team to work.
Yeah.
That's my whole
That
issue.
that is madness, and that is things. That is, if we're being honest, them is things we wanted to kill Ten Hag for. That no good team could be based on one player. Sorry, you could have these star players, but it still is a team.
Yeah. I mean, I know you want leaders in the team, and I know it has certain players that could translate what you want. But I just feel as though this Bruno thing becoming it. I don't want to. I mean, Bruno, he get the assist today. He scored the penalty, so he leave the game with GA. But I just kind of look beyond them kind of thing now. Yeah.
You have to look beyond that, because then we will just be fanboys. And we's not fanboys. We actually love football. We love the whole game of it. So we watching Manchester, with a microscope. So we are gonna get carried away. Hey, he get the assist. Them stats does look nice when you want to talk stats, but if you want to single out, today was out today. And Bruno is my player. You know that Bruno is my player, but today wasn't. Today was not good. Bruno lost that ball too much today, boy. Too much. And the thing is, he losing the ball with so much good options ahead of him, and it's just bad passes.
Yeah.
Bad passes. You're trying to make hard passes. You think what we thought we was past with Bruno, trying to make these star boy passes, trying to do done. You trying to be pushing ball through man leg and you're trying to push a ball through a man leg and a man right on the left hand side they open. Oh God,
Yeah,
boy.
pass the ball now, man. Pass the ball. And you know, to add on to that, you know the next problem I have? Where the team now limiting their own selves to pass the ball to Bruno. It's about
Yeah.
4 instances today. Cunha collect the ball in the midfield. Cunha had nobody around him. We know Cunha and we want Cunha to take the ball, turn and drive.
Mm-hmm.
Cunha play the ball back to Bruno with some 1-2 pass and lost the ball. Mount get the ball. Mount, Bruno there in a crowded space with about 2 or 3 players around him. Mount get the ball. It had a free pass. Mount turn back to give back Bruno that ball. You know? I see Bruno drop. Maguire had an open pass. Maguire turn and give Bruno the ball. It's like only Bruno allowed to make decisions in this team. Nobody else could take the initiative. So everything is pass the ball to Bruno, pass the ball to Bruno, and these things make us very, very predictable.
And what gonna happen? God forbid Bruno get injured tomorrow, the boy then the season done up.
So this is why I ask. We spend 65 million on Mbumo. We spend 63 million on Cunha, right? By the looks of it, we might spend our next 60 something million on our striker, right? So therefore, Bruno out of that front three, right? Let me say all of them for the sort of Jen and sort of Bang, then Bruno not playing there. Dogu, more or less lucky position. Amar, more or less lock, right? In terms of profiles, we need a box to box, and then we need like a kind of playmaker, deep line playmaker in the two. Dog Bruno can feature as one of the back threes or the goalkeeper. So for me, it had to be one of them two players in the middle of the park is where Bruno had to play. But you know what the manager do today? Kobe and Ugarte had a real good game. So you see what here all going on. Bruno, you had to play now. So I drop in the striker.
Yeah.
Why put in Cunha in number 9 and Cunha was ineffective today.
And you know, funny enough, well, yeah, I know we was gonna touch on that one. That out and out striker position is not Cunha. Cunha had to play wide. So that's
Yeah.
one. And then you know, funny enough, Rasmus hasn't been having a bad toe. And I think if it's any person need that confidence building is Rasmus. Boy, he had to play, boy. Because until we have better, he had to get him on time, let him get some confidence going into the season. I did not agree with him not playing today at all.
I actually thought, I mean, as much as I different from Chef, as much as I do like Hoyland, I think for the purpose of the structure of the team, I just think we needed that striker to
Yeah,
occupy the defenders, right? Of which Cunha is not his game. Let me put it like that. It's not
that's
his
not
game,
his game. That is not his game. That is not his game.
right?
He could play it. He could play it at times, but it's not his game.
Yeah,
Or he could play it if the inter switching and that kind of vibes up front. But
yeah,
that him playing there, that's not his game.
yeah. So I just feel as though perhaps, but again, this is where the issue comes, right? Before this game, Kobe and Ugarte give you a real top performance against West Ham. So the
Hmm.
manager wants to continue with it, right? You bring in Mbumo, you bring in, well, Cunha there. So where Bruno go play? Well, here what going on? I had to drop down number 9 because Bruno had to play, right? After this performance, Kobe and Ugarte didn't really look all out top. So I could promise you next game, he could bring back in his number
Customary.
9 he could bring back in the number 9, right? Whether it's Hoyland or Xerxes, he could bring them back in, and Bumu will start,
Xerxes
right?
back fit?
Well, Xerxes, he should be available for the Fiorentina game, right?
Okay.
But the point I'm making is, he gonna reshuffle it again, but Bruno had to play. So I promise you, Bruno gonna either play in that 8 next to Ugarte or Casemiro against Fiorentina. And we're gonna see a striker, Mbumo, and Cunha. And then next game, let me say Hoyland don't give you, but Kobe come on, or Ugarte come on and give you a solid game. Bruno gonna be somewhere else. No, because Bruno have to play. And I have an issue with that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get some comments here, guys. All right. Eric saying here, Ineos will regret not taking that 100 million. All right. I don't know. I was reading somewhere where Al Nassr was having conversations with Bruno, and Bruno say he would consider it next year because he really wanted to play with Man United in the World Cup year or something like that. I don't know how true it is. All right.
Okay.
But I don't know if we'll get 100 million next year. All right. He also saying here, don't forget about Dalot as well. He keeps getting worse. If he's a starter next season with the same S, it's on Amorim. But I think Amorim, from what we've seen so far, Amorim kind of settled on Dogu and Ahmad. But let me see. You could never tell.
Yeah. Think it's Dogu. What to Maz injured?
Yeah. So Maz, but he recovering. So Mazwari, them fellas go be, hopefully should be available for the Fiorentina game.
Yeah, but it looked like it's
that first goal. Who was it? That was, I know, like when you got to lost the ball. I think was it Dalot that was trying to get back because he was deep. Now Bruno was marking. Bruno was marking the fella, but on the other side, Dalot was deeper in the box. He was next to the goalkeeper, trying to get back out.
Yeah.
So I didn't see the shot of the, to see who was playing them onside, but no, Dalot was back there as well, trying to get back on the right side. It's like he was the last person leaking out, so I don't know.
Maybe like who play and I on?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Bruno, that might have been Bruno Man, but if Dalot was still back there, he know that Dalot was still trying to recover, Yeah.
It was Dalot.
Okay. Kiel saying here, Dalot on the left should never be happening. He even worse on that wing. On that wing, right?
You see that experiment with Dalot on that left side? I don't want to see that at all. At all.
No, but you see, sometimes them fellas go come down, get a little good thing, and then they go make you believe they could do a job, and then they'll come.
But by now, Marim, by now we know Dalot. Dalot barely good on the right hand side, much less on the left. Don't do matter. I don't want to see Dalot on the left.
Yeah. Dalot cannot be on the left wing again. I cannot take that this season.
Yes.
We have 2 young, strong left wing backs in Adogo and De Leon. Diego Leon. Right? That's healthy competition. I don't know. I don't think that is competition yet. I think Leon needs some plenty work. He needs plenty work to be competition. Right? So fellas,
right now he's just an option.
Yeah, but he's not competition,
Nah, he ain't competition. Especially with how Dogu looking so far.
Yeah. So there's the last point before we wrap it. Tordon, what is a positive that you taken away from the tour, from what you would have seen from the tour?
It's had positives. I will say one thing: the team looks fitter. That's definitely one. The playing fitter. Forget the looking fitter. The playing fitter. The pressing, you're seeing it. it was enjoyable to see Manchester actually pressing for most of our game and pressing as a team, not just one player running like a headless chicken and nobody else. And you saw the plan with the pressing is basically to force you into almost into the corners. So it had that. Um, and the football itself is a lot faster. Generally, you're seeing the football moving a lot more faster, even though I still find at times we just standing up and waiting. We could still move, we could still have it bouncing a little more. Um, the negatives still have some lapses, still trying to force the play, namely we captain still trying to force the play and yeah, we still just as be making retarded mistakes, unforced errors. We had to work on that, boy. We had to work on that.
Yeah. Sylvia?
I mean, Dogu. I was worried about Dogu coming into this season. That's one position we have a better, we're more comfortable on that side because I wasn't sure about him honestly. But then we have the young fellas like we see Heaven and we see Euro played last season preseason, but like we see in how comfortable they are, play the system, the aggressiveness. I think they're more aggressive than the older players. So I mean, it's good to see. So that the bad side, I mean, just the first two games, the passing was great. This game was kind of, pass quality back was kind of questionable. So I'm still worried about our ability to transfer the ball from, defense to offense, midfield, carrying it up. That's still, that has always been the issue. And even though it's one game out of three, I take that game along with the last 2 years. So yeah, that still worries me.
For me, the positives are taken Chef, one with the level of fitness that we saw, because to play Amorim style, them boy had to be fit. All right. But one of the other positives are taken is that we leaving this tour with no serious injuries. All right, because last year
Ahmad.
was no from tour was Hoyland, and I think the season before was
Wasn't
Yo.
Ahmad?
Nah, Ahmad play last tour.
But Ahmad didn't get injured until and take long to come back in. Was it last year or the year before? No boy was last year. Oh, you remember that was last preseason tour when we had real high hopes for Ahmad, and boom, Ahmad come and get injured.
No, Ahmad get injured during the season last season, and Ahmad, and we was talking the reason why Ahmad was given Ten Hag problems was because Ahmad had a real good preseason. That's why when Garnacho came back from preseason,
it wasn't the last game in preseason. Ahmad had get injured,
nah.
Probably then it was early in the season. I don't know why I think it was Ahmad.
Ahmad get injured when Amorim took over. Right? So I know for sure last season we left preseason with Hoyland being injured. Right? And a lot of players didn't get preseason because of the international competition. So people like Xerxes came back late, Garnacho came back late, Martinez came back late. So they would have taken some time to come into the first team. Right? But this preseason, together with the fitness levels that we talk about, the fact that we leave in here and nobody have a serious long-term injury as a massive positive. Massive. You always want to have your squad at your disposal. And I think Amorim was very careful with certain players. That is why even though Mazraoui knock was minor, he didn't want to risk him further. That's why Mazraoui didn't play no further part in the tour. Xerxes.
No, Maz is our main player.
Yeah, and Maz is our main player. Xerxes. Xerxes could have, I'm sure Xerxes could have played, but he told Xerxes focus on getting ready for the start of the season. Martinez gonna be back, soon. Una, right? That next one now, right? So for me, that's the positive. The negative for me, the overarching negative for me is this Bruno issue. And I know people will come at me because he's scoring goals and he getting assists and something, but I think this is a problem. It's a problem.
What I would say to Manchester fan base is, and I need it. Well, y'all watching this podcast long enough to know I'm a huge Bruno fan. But when Kareem make these statements, y'all need to be watching football holistically. When you're watching the games, don't just watch stats. Don't just watch moments. Because to be quite honest, watching moments is one of the reasons Manchester is where it is today. Because we've consistently had players who will give us moments. We had a player, I ain't gonna call names, that was in Manchester as an academy player. He come through. And he had one good season, and we give him a bumper 300 and something contract. And look, and what happened since that? Because of moments. We need to stop that, bro.
Correct. Agreed. Let me just get some comments, guys. Before we look to wrap it, Jerome, thanks for joining, man. But you're really we on the back end, right? But thanks nonetheless, man. KL saying here, you guys read about the changes to the team going back to in Carrington. Yeah, it's 50 million. How much million they spent to upgrade the facility?
50. It was like 50 to 60 million.
Right. So when they left to go on preseason, they were still using the little makeshift thing.
Yeah.
But now that they're going back, the new facility ready and prepared. So
yeah, Manchester finally out of the dark ages. That shit's embarrassing, eh?
Very, very. Imagine Cristiano Ronaldo come back and say the pool that he used to use when he was here, when he was a little boy, he come back and beat it. And he went Real Madrid, he went Juventus.
Then he went teams with styling.
Yeah.
Come
So
on,
the facility, we was behind. He said we in ancient history with facilities and the gym and wherever. So let me see. We are sure we will see pictures and videos when them boy go back. So let me see how it goes.
Of course.
But it says state of the art, updated, everything. So let me see, right? Jerome saying here we need a proper center mid so we don't give away that second goal, right? We look good in attack, especially counters, but our center mid, same thing I say last game. Bruno gave away the ball carelessly, trying to salad the man, right? And that was it. And again, he tried against Tottenham in the final and Cosby, Jerome saying here, Ahmad got injured on tour 2 summers ago. Rasmus came.
Oh, it was 2 summers. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Jerome. Thank you.
KL saying at the moment, Licha, Xerxes, Onana, and Maz are the only ones out. Right? And they didn't really get injured on preseason, on tour.
Yeah, they went into.
Yeah. There's only Maz, I think, pick up a knock, but I feel here far away, and they did say that Onana, Xerxes, and Maz were enough far, right? It's just Licha is the one that going to be the furthest away in terms of playing.
So then he still have a couple of months away then.
Yeah, they say they're expecting Martinez back the end of September.
Okay.
Yeah, the end of September. They're expecting him back. But
they're not rushing him.
But when a player, and Martinez is a how to put it, but Martinez this takes some time to catch the link now.
Yeah. So and he's been out a while too.
Yeah, exactly. So even though Martinez come back in September and start back team training,
that's October, November.
Yeah, October, November. That's what I'm saying too. I'm saying October, and then too for we to see his best form, we might actually see that in the new year.
Yeah.
So
especially if it's a defense that's actually looking good. Here again, they just so.
Yeah. But I mean, based on how we defense looking, I don't see any need to rush him back. right? Because we have proper cover. We are Heaven, Euro could play there, and Mazwari not far off. So I think we have plenty cover, right? Another notice I didn't mention, sure, right?
But I don't want to see Shaw.
So yeah, so let me get some closing thoughts now, fellas, and let me wrap it.
Well, that was my closing thoughts, though.
Yeah, we point now we just gotta wait and see. I don't know how he might get a half an hour, 45 minutes next game, but like now it's a wait and see deal. I think the only question is, are we gonna buy? Who are we gonna get in the transfer bracket before it closes? I mean, are we gonna get anybody else in before the season starts? Are we gonna try and do a striker deal? I mean, because we can't do more than one deal at the same time. Was this game enough to push them first into
time to buy.
Yeah. Do you think we should enter my mind? Should we go for a Baliba instead of going for a Sesko? That kind of things like that. So that's my only thing I think about before the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, still have plenty questions around the team, man. I know everybody concerned about the coming ins, but then I really concerned about getting rid of them rest of them. I find them fellas need to go to them fellas need to go, especially Sancho and Garnacho. I expect Anthony.
If we cast out Sancho to Chelsea, who will take Sancho, boy?
Boy, Dortmund.
Yeah, I think not buying everybody. We can't even sell. No, but I mean, fairness to the point, Chelsea was willing to buy the man, and it's just Sancho didn't want to.
He didn't want to take no. Dan, you really have to wonder about not only advisors but the ego of these men. Dan, Sancho has not played 5 games good on a trot. You watch Sancho stats since he come to the league, Dan, it's deplorable, Sancho can cross 10 goals, 10 assists, but you still find you deserve all this money. Dan, all you from hell,
Yeah, and for us sick, boy. Sick. But I think we'll get wrap up. It might happen late, but I think we'll get wrap up.
I need it to happen. I need it to happen and happen soon. I really don't want the season starts and then men still there, boy. I don't want to hear nothing but integrating them back into no team.
No, but what I read, I mean, I don't know how reliable this is or how true it is, but it's from I don't know how true it is, but it's from reliable sources. They're saying that when the team goes back, the same arrangement that was in effect before the team left is what will continue. So those boys will be able to train, but they'll be training different times from the main group. So the main team will come in and train like during the day, and when the team leaves, then those fellas coming in and out will be allowed to train. That's what I hear so far, right? So I mean, it is what it is. You have to put some pressure on them fellas to want to leave,
Yeah, them had to. Olia has so much mouth, boy.
Yeah.
Olia had all that mouth. You're supposed to be able to find a team easy if only that good.
And what I think working in the club favor is the fact that for Anthony and Garnacho, not Sancho, because Sancho had no hope in the England team. It's have World Cup next year's World Cup. So men want to make sure they're playing so that they could get selected by the national team. And if Garnacho not playing, he's not gonna get picked for Argentina.
He's not making not in the Argentinian team.
And Ancelotti come in Brazil, and Ancelotti like Anthony because Anthony get called up last time. So Anthony have to be playing. So them fellas know if they come back Man United, regular football not gonna be promised, right? Even if they get reintegrated, it's a bad mind, plenty bad mind in football. Remember when they say
Of course.
remember they tell me last season how Ten Hag and Sancho make up and they're willing to work together to go forward. And then Sancho going Chelsea. No. So I think the relationship with Amorim and Garnacho and the ones who in the bomb squad, that far gone. And
Yeah, that good. Them fellas had a good.
Yeah. So that is that. But I really do think that we need to do some work before the end of the window because I'm not comfortable with our midfield. I'm not comfortable with the goalkeepers. So let me see. And it would be good if Hoyland could go as well. You know?
For real.
The last comment going to Kiel. He's saying we already have goals in the team, but yes, I agree. We need Baleba from Brighton if possible. Use the Ghana money. All right. So
how much he going for? How much was he?
I feel we got accept 50 around 50 50.
No, not natural. That boy from Brighton.
Baleba?
Listen, I ain't seen Baleba happening at all. Brighton ain't gonna ask for nothing less than 100 million.
Yeah.
Right? And then too, we had to watch it, and next thing we had to consider is if we go for Baleba, right? And I think from what I hear, don't misquote. If I misquoted, correct me, right? I think Fergie had an issue with signing African players for the reason of AFCON, because
that was always a talk. That was always a scene. But look, we have Mazraoui now.
Right, but we have Mazraoui, we have Onana, we have Amar, we have Mbumo. Right? You want to bring in Baleba? That is 5 players. If I miss any, that'll be gonna lose for a month. You know?
Well, four.
Four. Right. But what I'm saying is if we get Baleba, that is 5 players we're gonna lose for a whole month. You know? That could be really a season. So let me look for somebody else now. Yeah. I like Baleba, yeah? But oh God, boy, that AFCON boy. Jeez.
Look at African players Manchester have now. Wow.
Yeah. And all of them going for the country. Right?
Yeah.
If we get Baleba, we will truly be Africa United. Yeah. Baleba is 100 million easy. Yeah, so I tell and watch me, Brighton and them fellas, it's not clubs you want to do business with them fellas.
Them gonna hold you by your balls.
Them digging the heels in 100 million.
Yeah.
You see what do with Caicedo for Chelsea? So nah. Jerome saying here, it's not starting less than 90. Right? KL saying here, but about 70 up. Right? Jerome saying here, AFCON was always an issue with Fergie. You know? So yeah. So I mean, as much as these fellas talented quality players, I don't have a problem if you bring them in, but we have to make sure we have cover for them fellas on them because we lost them.
Sure.
That could real hurt people. You know?
Yep.
I tell you from the time them fellas jump on that plane to go AFCON, I just want them to get knocked out, you know. Tell you, come back home.
And if it's one set, and I admire that about them, African players, they're gone.
Yeah. Them I tell you that.
They don't think twice.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, it was nice. Simeon.
Yeah, man.
Chef, it was nice. We could be here again on Saturday and holiday again, playing real early Saturday morning by 7:45, you know.
Well, all right then.
Yeah, 7:45 Saturday morning. So we'll see how that one goes, right? Guys, any comments? Thanks again for the likes, the shares, the interaction. We do appreciate it as always. Don't forget to like and share. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. Right, we there as well. I got just that runner, you know. So we could be here again on the next one, fellas. See you all. Until then, laters.